One of the most infamous things that in the past was revolutionary at the time and is now proven to be, again, detrimental, is the Barrow lamination process. We've learned over the years that various procedures that were done in the past were great at the time, but over the years, we found out that they have been more detrimental to the documents. Our goal is anything that we do to a document today, we want to be able to undo. William Barrow was a chemist in the 1930s who had kind of taken it upon himself while working in an archive on the East Coast to find ways to help protect documents. And the way he did that is by creating the Barrow lamination process. That would use this machine here. This was a design he created using old parts from ships, and it used heat and chemicals to flatten and fuse a cellulose film onto those documents, essentially acting like a laminate. The problem is that both the heat and the chemicals that Barrow used in his process over the years became acidic and caused further damage to the documents. Part of the problem with the process is that it's very hard to undo. It's a very chemically intensive process, and frankly, a lot of conservation labs don't have the skills to do so, and so it's very expensive. Another issue that we ran into in some of our collections is that if the documents weren't prepared properly before they were Barrow laminated, we're dealing with those issues in the future. So if they weren't properly surface cleaned, we can't get that surface dirt off anymore. Multiple documents Barrow laminated together, so we have no idea what's on the inside of those pages. So this is an example of the film that they would have used in the Barrow lamination process. So this is a cellulose material. They would have gone a plaster sizing material, which is the actual chemical that would fuse this to the document. And then they would put the document, another layer of the plaster sizing, and then another layer of the cellulose. And then they would have put that into here, raised it up, turned it on, heated it up, sealed it down, which would then get you to a document that looks like this. Flattened, has support on both sides, but like I mentioned, if they weren't properly prepared beforehand, you're going to have permanent issues in the future of there's no way that we can remove this surface dirt. It's underneath the actual, the laminate, and so it's on there for good. And then the other issue that we've run into is multiple documents being laminated together. So the only way that we'll be able to get the information from between these pages is by removing the laminate, which again is a pricey process. Needless to say, we don't do the Barrow lamination process anymore. We've kept our machine because it's a great example of technology that again was top of the line, saved probably hundreds of thousands of documents. But with modern science and modern understanding of the conservation process, we now know it caused a lot more harm than was good. And I would say most major archives in the country are going to be dealing with these issues for the foreseeable future.